private network or you were connecting directly with somebody. But if you were on private Battle.net or you were connecting directly with somebody,
you had to log in.
You were on private, you were logging in, and that directly was so that you couldn't hack. Like that was, if I remember correctly, either one of us could be completely misremembering this, but
it's
I
coming
think
back
it was that on Battle.net, your Diablo 2 save was Battle.net exclusive, and then you had your not like there was multiplayer, there was like Battle.net, there was not Battle.net over the internet, and then there was like local area network stuff like what we did in college. But yeah, if I remember correctly, there was the version that was locked down, and then there was the version that we hacked the shit out of for like 35 charms of plus 10 teeth.
Well, Jesus, yeah. There's no like LAN play isn't really a thing anymore in games.
Not really.
I mean, I guess you can jury rig it. Like if a game has multiplayer, you can figure out a way to make it LAN only, but it's not like a feature that I see coming with very many games anymore.
No, I mean to the game, you're just the game's just connecting to the internet. You're just deciding what version of the internet it's connecting to in that case.
Yeah,
now multiplayer online is just the standard.
The only two games I can think of off the top of my head are games that are not exactly what I would call high quality stuff, but Stardew Valley lets you LAN as well as Valheim. But they both also have an internet component as well. I mean, or can. But you can also do LAN style, which is kind of nifty.
Oh, Stardew Valley.
Speaking of...
there's a nice game.
Yeah, definitely speaking of things that are, things that are technologically savvy, I apologize to anybody listening, as well as our future upload, anybody who listens in the future, and I hate to break the stream like this, but good lord, I don't know what happened because Streamlabs decided to update like 2 days ago, and I was getting reverb from everybody, so everybody gets to hear everybody's voice about 4 times about 2 minutes ago, and I just fixed it.
What?
What?
It was awesome. I was hearing so much echo.
Fuck it, we're going to start again. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. My name is DrNiggle. Welcome to the Church of Chonkwij podcast. I'm joined tonight by Kosen, Masami, and OmegaConstruct, Zero Burn. Leetons cannot be with us tonight because he tried to go swimming, but he couldn't figure out how to be not face down, so he drowned. Rip Leetons. It's been an exciting week. We talked about BlizzCon a lot. Diablo 2 Resurrected came out last week, and now they'll be able to import your save game from Go. I don't know why you're announcing this because nobody has the same games anymore, but I have my own hard drive. Omega brought up a completely valid point, Omega.
That was equally terrifying and amazing.
Why doesn't Battle.net have our saves? We had to log into Battle.net. Wait, no, did we? Was it LAN on the game? No, it wasn't LAN on the game. It also had multiplayer, and you had to log into Battle.net to play multiplayer. Oh, Omega, you're right. And that's pretty much where we left off.
I love you guys so much.
It's so dumb. I love it.
Yeah. Just piling onto stupid tonight. I realized I didn't change my username either.
You didn't. I was waiting to see if you would, and you did.
There's a new Britney Spears documentary out that might be of interest to some people about how she doesn't make any money anymore, and it all goes to her dad.
Anyway, I apologize about breaking the fourth wall there. I apologize, Omega. I apologize, Masami, Kosen, Doc. Fourth wall breaks inside of fourth wall breaks here. That's 16 walls.
Speaking of that, happy International Women's Day.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, is it International Women's Day? I thought you got a whole month.
You do.
I think we get both. I don't know. I don't keep track of these things. I just, remember it because of Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, nope. Anyway.
What were you doing?
Anyway.
No, my mind just wandered to the pegging joke from UFC fighting on Saturday.
Oh, God.
It was an appropriate, respectful pegging joke.
Is there any other kind, though?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, okay, so import your 20-year-old save if you want to, and If anybody didn't catch it the first time, Omega brought up that you do have to actually log into Battle.net, or you did back in 2000. You had to log into Battle.net to play a version of online multiplayer, and if our account profiles were locked into that, then why didn't Blizzard save them? Is it one of those Doctor Who situations where the Betamax tapes were sitting around and people were just like, "Oh, we'll reuse these"?
Well, I mean, that is actually a valid point, but I'm just not sure whether or not if they like it depends on whether or not where Blizzard foisted the basically the data on which end, like whether or not if your actual Battle.net characters were actually saved data-wise on your side of the computer or if it was saved on their side. Like, I could imagine it being to where that you could in Battle.net, or the way how that they did it initially, is that your characters were basically all data-wise saved on your computer, but basically that they were keyed in a way to where they could not be accessed unless you were accessing Battle.net itself. If that
Yeah,
Which
it
is-
could just
I
be
mean-
like there was some sort of authentication token on it. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you got to think a Battle.net character profile for Diablo 2 is a text file in like at most the triple-digit kilobytes.
Yeah,
right.
at the most.
Like it's not, So either way, but yes, you could absolutely be on something there that if it was stored locally and it just had some sort of attached Battle.net authentication token in there that designated that as the Battle.net version, and was some form of tamper proofing. But my understanding was the reason for that was that your Battle.net characters weren't stored locally, whereas your other characters were, so that you could go in and edit the shit out of your other characters, but you couldn't do it for your online character. Again, we're talking about me in middle school and shit that I was talking about with my friends while we were breaking shit back then, long before Doc and I were ever playing this game in college, so who knows?
Right.
Well, and
That was kind of an informative time for, yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an informative time just because the ability to go in and to, like, if you really love a game and you know the mechanics of the game inside and out, and you're down to like how things are rolled or calculated in an attack or in a defense or something like that, and then you get a third party program that lets you tinker with that and experiment even more. You start learning even more, and that lets you figure out what's under the hood and gets you more interested in how computer programs work. So that was an informative time for me when I was just trying to figure out trial and error, trying to figure out how things worked. And I did that with the Jamila save editor.
And this article brings up a very valid point. So, I'm just going to read it directly off here. So, all of that progress from back then, theoretically, with the new cross save capability across PC and consoles, means that you could load your OG save onto a Nintendo Switch.
Which would be neat.
It definitely would make it, a little more interesting, being able to take a game or a save that you had played years and years ago and be able to play it, portably.
But I mean, it's neat that we could theoretically do that, but I don't really want to take my level 97 or something assassin who I actually built up legitimately and play her because she's level 97. What else have I got to do? Or my level 99 barbarian who I hacked the fuck out of, and yeah, is maybe wouldn't break the game anymore. It depends on how they redid this. Maybe you could get more than 10,000 thorns on an armor set now.
but that was kind of my idea, though, was that like all of the old saves that we have are the ones that were held locally, so they've been hacked to shit. So they're basically saying like you could import your broken ass saves from back then, but the things that we had that we were actually proud of, which was probably our Battle.net accounts, those are long gone.
Sad. And then there's another article that's tagged onto D2.
Yes.
Right after that, Diablo 2 Resurrected will have 2 alphas, one single player and one multiplayer. I don't really know. Well, I do kind of know why. Maybe they're nervous about how multiplayer is going to work.
I am actually curious about that myself, because I know that they are making some conceptual changes to D2 to more reflect a modern gameplay style. Blah 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 blah. They talked about it. So, are they going to be kind of making it more like D3, where when you're out in the world, they removed kind of the MMO aspect of it, whereas in D2, like, you could be running around and some dude will just show up and like try to duel you.
Wow.
Some dude will show up and wreck your shit.
So I wonder if they're going to bring that back.
That's a good question.
That would be nice. The biggest thing that I want to find out if they did or not is clicking to pick up gold.
Oh God.
I really hope that they got rid of that.
Oh man.
Because fuck
Oh.
Right next to that is our stashes increased. His stash size increased.
Well, and they did say in the previous article, they said that while yes, this is them bringing back Diablo 2, this isn't just Diablo 2 upgraded. They are making fundamental changes, even though they're not saying what those changes are right now. They are making changes to the game. It's just the changes that are made are on top of the original Diablo 2 structure.
Wouldn't it be hilarious?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, because who knows what they're going to be doing and keeping and throwing away and changing. It's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not as bad as Warcraft 3 Refunded. I mean, Reforged.
I was going to ask, isn't World of Warcraft due for like a classic update or something like that? They're bringing back original servers.
Well, it's not that they're bringing back original servers. They're starting the World of Warcraft. God, I cannot speak today.
It's World of Warcraft. That's fine.
World of Warcraft Burning Crusades Classic. So I mean, they're and every time I bring it up, Masami just kind of groans. Yes, be prepared. Loose months of your life.
I just think it would be hilarious. I know it's not going to happen, but it would be really funny if Diablo 2 and the WoW Burning Crusade turned out to be the same thing. They're just like, yeah, we altered the Diablo 2 experience. Now it's an MMO.
Oh my God.
I twitches incessantly. But no, I mean, I never played Diablo 2. I did not pick up Diablo until Diablo 3. Like I said in the last podcast, Diablo 3, when it hit Xbox. So, you know, that I may actually pick this up to play it.
I'd recommend it. I've played both Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. I will have to say that Diablo 2 has the superior storyline, but Diablo 3 has the superior mechanics.
Okay, so you say you played Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. When did you last play Diablo 2?
Last time I played Diablo 2 was... Oh, Christ. When was the last time I played? I want to say it was somewhere in the early 2000s.
Exactly what I was getting at. I used to play GoldenEye, and at the time, that was a great game. Try going back and playing. Like, the point that I'm making is, like, it was a great game for its time. And I'm not saying you're wrong that it's not worth going back to. I'm just saying, like, you and I and everybody who loved playing it would probably be shocked if we actually went back and loaded it back up and gave it a shot. The version that it was. It's very easy to attach rose-colored glasses to games. And, I mean, hell, even when Doc and I were playing through Halo 1 on the Master Chief collection when that came out, even that was like, holy shit, this is
Right, but here this is
different era of gaming. So,
well, I can confirm what Omega's saying, because the last time I played D2 was 5-6 years ago, and it was a fluke. Because one of Linus' coworkers wanted to play it, so Linus and I re-downloaded it and we gave it a shot. It was rough. It was really difficult.
Guys, I am not talking about the mechanics. I already agreed that when it comes
And
to
the
Diablo
graphics.
2, when it comes to I include graphics in the mechanics. When it comes to D2, its mechanics and graphics are super rough, and I would never go back to actually playing it. I'm just saying that when it comes to the storyline, Diablo 2 is vastly superior than to Diablo 3.
Okay, yeah, no question about that. Before Chris Metzen was fully allowed in the writer's room, yeah.
Yeah, but like a good story isn't going to make a 20-year-old game playable.
True.
Well, that's
true.
That's hopefully what their quality of life updates are going to address. As I say, get rid of picking up gold with a click and make stash size bigger. Those are two huge improvements right off the bat.
I mean, I would agree with you on that one, Omega. But the problem is that there are still people that go back and play games like Super Metroid or Chrono Trigger or some of the most oldest console games whose graphics are in what is comparison to be utter dog shit. But they don't go back for the games or they don't go back for the mechanics or the graphics. They go back for the story. I mean, I grant you, good mechanics, good graphics. They can make or break a game, but what really sells people to play games, especially whether if it's single player games or not, is gonna be its storyline.
Wait, isn't Super Metroid a side scroller?
It is a side scroller, but it does have a storyline to it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I don't dispute it has a storyline to it. I just, in my experience, side scrollers have aged way better than anything that tried to be 3D.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I would have to say that that's probably the biggest suffering that most 3D games have is that they're because there are actually wonderful games from a basically from a creative storytelling wise way back in the day, but where they suffer at is primarily in their graphics department. I would say that like some of the Japanese RPGs, like say for instance like the Final Fantasies that have really good stories, like Final Fantasy VII, as we were talking about earlier, their graphics are utterly dog shit, but people will go back year by year just to play those games again because they're so in love with the stories and stuff like that. And that doesn't work with every genre of game. Like, you could consider Call of Duty to have an amazing storyline, and I feel sorry for you if you do. But I mean, in those cases, though, like if you try to go back and play the old Call of Duty, you're just gonna throw your controller away at that point in time because of just how bad the graphics are, eventually. And that's just something that I would say that a certain genre or certain 3D games actually have a problem with.
Well, that's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with Kosen that a game with a great story will make you go back and play. I can't tell you how many times I have gone back and restarted Final Fantasy Tactics. I cannot go back. The storyline is great. And then when they redid Final Fantasy Tactics for the PSP and did War of the Lions, they improved the graphics slightly and then added, directed animated cutscenes where they just did sprite cutscenes in the original.
Yep.
And that made a world of difference for that game. Another game that the story, while very archaic, was good was if y'all ever played Vandal Hearts on the PlayStation. Great game, good story behind it. Definitely one of the quote gorier RPG games, but I loved it. The fact.
Okay, so anyway, here's something that we can all agree on. All right, Linus pre-ordered Diablo 2 Remastered. Let's wait for him to buy it. Let's get him to stream the gameplay, and then decide whether or not we want to pick it up.
There we go.
Yeah, valid point.
He can be our lab rat.
I'm just most curious to see which of their quality of life modernization improvements come with nice fancy microtransactions.
The Diablo 2 store. Yeah, why not? Or they can have Diablo
man.
2 auction house. Why the fuck not? It worked so great the first time.
Oh god.
Right.
No, I'm thinking more Rockstar style.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, buying infernal cash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's how you'll
infernal
upgrade
cash.
your stash.
You can just buy shards. Just buy soulstone shards for cash.
And you can so yeah, in the true PoE fashion, you can expand your stash that way by buying an orb of holding, and you attach it to a socket in your stash, and it makes your it doubles the stash size. Yeah, that could totally work.
Yeah, there was a very brief minute where I was like considering giving it a shot, and Leetness was, may he rest in peace, was telling me all of the glories of this free to play game, and that he was like, "Yeah, I bought like 6 stash tabs." How much did you spend on that? Oh, yeah, no, I'm no longer at all remotely interested in playing this cash grab game.
It's like $60 if you want this special currency, and then you can buy it, or you can grind it out over the course of the next 4 years. Nope. So,
Wait, that makes me feel bad because I play WoW, and good lord, I've been grinding for how long now?
Look, that's fine. How many microtransactions have you underwent in WoW that were not mount related?
Actually, I've never bought a mount.
Hey, there you go.
I know in all the time I've ever played WoW, I have never engaged in any sort of microtransactions.
I have
whatsoever.
done 2 microtransactions.
0. I am disappointed.
Well, this was back way before you guys knew me. It was back way before I knew me. It was 200. It was about 110 pounds ago. So I was much younger and much more naive, and was living at home, so I had disposable income. A luxury that I do not have now that I'm an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So WoW sucks. Speaking of suck, Destiny 2's 12-player fun can stay for now, but Bungie says it didn't create activities expecting a clown car of Guardians. Sounds like they should have thought of that a little harder.
So, okay, I can.
The best title ever.
I want to speak on this one because I actually saw this on YouTube today, and about fell out of my chair laughing. I was going back to work from lunch, and one of my friends that I used to play Destiny with all the time says, "You're not going to believe this shit," and sent me the video. There is a way to take a 3-man Nightfall and turn it into a 6-man Nightfall, starting with 2 people.
Okay.
So, and apparently they've been able to do this same thing and get 12 people into a 6-man raid. And the 6-man was hilarious because normally, if you're doing a Nightfall timed, you're looking at probably 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much synergy there is with your team.
Right.
They cleared this thing in 3.5 minutes.
Good for them. They figured out how to break the game. I'm all for it.
Yep. And
they beat the Matrix.
And Blizzard has, and in fact, that's the name of the Nightfall. So
that's amazing.
Damn,
I know
Masami.
nothing.
Good job. But no, they've Bungie has. I mean, like it says in this article, Bungie has said, you know what, y'all found a way to exploit this. We're gonna leave it in there for now, but on March 16th, it's getting fixed. The next update that they do in 8 days, but
right,
it is.
I love this. Oh, go ahead.
It is extremely funny because, like I said, there are people who are doing this now, and they're doing it because it is a quick way to get geared up with people in raids. You can drag low-level people through raids right now.
Yeah. I love this. It says this one enables players to queue into certain PvE activities, including raids, with double the amount of players normal possible. In the case of raids, that means 12 guardians clapping alien cheeks simultaneously. As you can imagine, it makes encounters both easier and hilariously chaotic.
See, and the thing is if you're not part of if you don't understand the Destiny lore, I'll have to send you guys the video at some point. But the guy who does Zavala's voice read the meme, and there was a meme that speaking about how Thunderclash actually got turned into, somebody said in a stream, Thunderclap, and he read the meme, and it goes along the lines of, we have to go in and break the Cabal's hold on Freehold. But when I go in, the thunderous clap of my ass cheeks keeps alerting Valis Ta'ak. And it's in the voice of the guy who voices Zavala, and it's fucking hilarious.
The guy who you're talking about is Lance Reddick.
Yes.
If anybody has ever seen a John Wick movie, Lance Reddick plays the concierge in the
that's
in the downstairs.
amazing.
Yeah,
he's the call guy who looks after John Wick's dog.
Yeah, he's an amazing voice actor.
Yeah.
He's great. And he's got just, I love his voice.
The worst part is when you're walking around the tower and all you hear is, Guardian, go away, Zavala. You're all the way on the other side of the map and I can hear you in my head. Go away. He's not as bad as Preston from Fallout 4, though.
Mm.
Oh, dude. All right. Well, Lance Reddick is pretty cool.
He's a treasure.
Yes,
all right. So, yeah, that's the Destiny 2 news. Next up would be the Division 2's next big update won't be out until late 2021 at the earliest. Nobody cares about Division 2. Moving on. Division 1.4 update adds a dating sim and a Windbloom festival. So Genshin Impact has got 3 new events coming out that celebrate I don't know, togetherness and love and all the rest.
I was about to say, isn't Genshin Impact basically a better version of MapleStory?
Yes. My sister-in-law loves it.
Yeah, we do. I mean, Silas plays it and is pretty fucking good at it. It's one of those character unlock free. It's kind of like Zelda, but the graphics are a little more anime, and you have multiple characters, and you can swap between the characters in combat to do different things, or have different skill sets available to you to kill different types of enemies faster.
Is this a Korean-based game by chance?
Genshin?
Or is it Japanese?
That's a good question.
Or is it an American-based one?
It's not American.
It's very anime in style.
Yeah, MiHoYo, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the developer is Japanese. I don't know terribly much about the developer or the publisher of this game.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is, okay, so it's, the Genshin Impact that's coming up is quote-unquote a dating sim. And the new event going on called the Windbloom Festival.
Dating sims are fun.
Yeah, you know what? Honey Pop 2 is also out. They're still adding things. I haven't bought it yet because there are no Steam achievements available. But as soon as Honey Pop 2 has Steam achievements, I will be getting that. Fun time. But anyway, Genshin Impact, if nobody's ever checked it out, it is a beautiful game. It's an open world roamer where you fight, you collect things, you craft things so that you can fight more things and get more crafting materials and craft more things to fight other things. The vicious cycle continues.
As it does.
Oh, here it is. Okay, the Windbloom Festival, which is a celebration of romance and passion, will also feature 3 mini games that support both single player and co-op mode, and these games are Bullseye, Balloons, Floral Freefall, and Ballads of Breeze. So it's carnival that you can go to and flirt with your anime girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever you're into. We don't judge.
Awesome. I love it.
Judgment-free zone here.
And unfortunately, we don't have anyone on the podcast with us who plays Genshin Impact. So I guess we'll move on to Rust. We don't have anyone on the podcast that plays Rust either. Rust finally gets a console launch this spring.
I've played
Yeah,
Rust on the PC.
Yeah, I played Rust
Omega
a
and
little
I
bit.
played it. Omega and I played it for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, there may have been a grand total of an hour put into it, and then I was like, "Fuck this."
Oh, it's definitely not a good game.
Well, okay, I never had a problem with the principle of the game. I think Omega and I both love like survival crafters and stuff like that, but it's strictly like public online or something. There's probably a way to set up a private server. Who the hell knows? But yeah, everybody who plays it is
Yeah,
a
it's
dick.
It's a tool.
persistent online. So like, it's persistent online public servers. So
Ugh.
you're gone, not online. People can just raid your shit and take it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
unless you set up your own private server.
It's like, what's the point? If you're playing Rust for 6 hours or 6 to 8 hours every single day, and you're like building up a fortress, and you have a little clan of buddies going on, and then you all go offline for 2 hours, and people completely fuck your shit up. What's the point?
I agree with you. Yeah, that's bullshit.
It's a feature.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that. So yeah, we can shit on Rust if we want to, but I don't think anyone's really played it all that long.
No, not really.
I don't care enough to shit on it.
I don't know enough to give any kind of damn.
Everybody say
And I
hello
think
to Kirby.
And I think I'm happy about that.
So all right.
Hey, Kirby.
Hey, Kirby.
Oh, what's up, Kirby? Kirby, have you ever played Rust?
God.
We don't recommend it.
It is not endorsed by the Church of Chonkwij.
Absolutely
Much
not.
like pants.
There are too many people in the game of Rust that wear pants. Unacceptable.
I mean, actually, to be fair, you do start that game with your dong flopping around.
Which is
God.
initially why I thought it was such a brilliant game, but then I saw the people wearing pants who were killing us.
Yeah, the goal is to move in the direction of pants and not the direction away from pants.
That seems to be the wrong direction.
That's kind
Right.
of doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
You should
Okay, but
start
we do
with
have- I wanna get
pants. You should start with pants in an effort to get them removed.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're getting at.
Wait, are there any games where you can actually do that? Where you like start off default with pants? Because I tried it in Red Dead. Okay, they want you to start even like just naked. Your character still has like a long john shirt on and like really baggy like underpants.
Well, you take off a shirt, and the best you could do in Red Dead is a union suit.
Yeah, like I tried to take
Oh.
off my shirt and it tells me I need a goddamn fucking corset.
Yeah, ladies need a corset, guys need a union suit.
God damn it.
Well, screw it.
We'll create our own game with no pants and hookers. And I want to get on to the next topic because this seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know who put this series of events on the list. I'm guessing it was Omega. Hogwarts Legacy, a clusterfuck of magical proportions. So apparently the lead developer of Hogwarts Legacy has old YouTube videos that support Gamergate and other such controversial topics. Who would like to delve into this?
Omega?
Well,
God damn it.
Legacy has just had a lot of trouble going on for a while now. I mean, for one thing, the studio is Warner Brothers game. So Warner Brothers, back a year ago when JK was saying all kinds of heinous shit about trans people, they had to come out and had to like officially state she's not involved in the creation of this game. But then they did have a little addendum admitting that she will, in fact, be making money off the sale of this game. But go pay attention to that part. And so, like, they've basically been having to defend themselves against that. And then, yeah, it came out that the lead developer had some videos on his YouTube channel supporting Gamergate, casting doubt on allegations of sexual misconduct in the entertainment industry against some big people, including, I believe, Lasseter was one of the listed names that he came out and publicly supported. And yeah, this all was bubbling up. Started last week. I was going to bring it up on last week's podcast, but it was postponed, or I guess canceled. But in the intervening days, just a few days ago now, the lead developer at Avalanche Studios, which is making the game for Warner Brothers, has now resigned. So this game now has no lead developer. It's dealing with all sorts of J.K. Rowling controversies. Now it's got this guy sowing all sorts of controversy. But in positive note, Bloomberg has reported that the game will fully support transgender characters in whatever configurations you like.
Nice.
Where you can attach any sort of voice, whether it be male or female or feminine or gruff, to any character, however you design it. And regardless of how you design your character, you will be able to decide if you are a witch or a wizard, which will determine which dormitory your character will stay in Hogwarts.
Huh.
So you're just a bunch of dudes just being dudes, all as witches in the women's dormitory. But
right?
That's
I want to play a tiny Asian girl voiced by Lance Reddick.
That would be amazing.
I heard that coming from a mile away.
Wow.
But no, I mean, I am not one for cancel culture, but after reading over this entire article, this dude needed to go away. Like, yeah, no, no, just no. He needed to step away because him being in charge and people knowing that he was in charge could severely hinder what could be an amazing game.
Yeah, this Hogwarts Legacy game, what do we know about it? This is actually the first I've heard about this, like legitimately.
I don't know. I don't know shit about it. I'm just here for the controversy and the shitting on J.K. Rowling because fuck that witch.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I'm here for that too as well. I am.
Also, I full disclosure, I won't say I hate Harry Potter. I don't know Harry Potter well enough to hate it. I just hate the pop culture around Harry Potter. So I've come to hate Harry Potter by extension. So, like, I'm getting a slight bit of schadenfreude seeing all this controversy around this game.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Like, the pop culture that surrounds Harry Potter is absolutely trash. But then I hate fandoms and pop culture around certain fandoms in general. Like, I am very anti-fandom.
Is one of the bad ones, definitely.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Cool. All right. So here's the thing. I have read the books and I have watched the movies. I enjoy both. Probably the movies a little bit more, just because really well done. So I like Harry Potter. I don't know anything about the fan community aside from that somebody created an entire Minecraft world that was a recreation of Hogwarts. And,
yeah, that was cool.
And this game exists. Those are pretty much the only extent that's outside of the movie that I know about. So it's fine for me. The whole situation's fine for me. I don't pay attention to anything that J.K. Rowling says. I don't get into the whatever. Where are they now? What are they doing now? Occasionally, I see Rupert Gant in a movie. I'm like, hey, that's cool. And Daniel Radcliffe showed his penis on Broadway. I guess I know that one too. But
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, I absolutely do not engage with the fandom part of Harry Potter at all. Like I've in the same boat. I have read the books, I've seen the movies. I like the books better. But I'm also severely upset that they put the books of or the events of book 3 in the movie completely out of order. But that's a whole other conversation I won't get into. But yeah, other than that.
Yeah. No, that's a whole different conversation about how you translate a book series to a TV or a movie series, and that's a thing.
But that's a whole different podcast.
Definitely a thing.
Very few movies have ever been able to pull that off. Fight Club was one exception.
So is this Hogwarts Legacy supposed to be like an open world game or
It is an
like that?
open world MMO set in the Hogwarts universe sometime around the 19th century.
Is there PvP?
Wow.
So that's a good question. I don't know. My sister actually keeps up with this. She is part of the Harry Potter fandom, though she is not one of the toxic ones. She is, her and I've
Don't
talked.
justify her bad decisions, Zero.
Yeah.
We know she's listening.
My sister, she will be listening later. She is actually in bed asleep. I tried to tell her that we were talking about this, and she was like, "I'm going to bed."
Zero's sister, Harry Potter's bad, and you should feel bad.
God damn it!
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say the Harry Potter fandom is bad, and you should feel bad.
But it. I'm sure she knows more about the game. I'm just relaying what I've seen about the game. I did not. I saw the articles when I was, putting things together for the podcast tonight, but I didn't know much about this, so I didn't want to attempt to speak on it. And then Omega brought it up and was like, "Yeah, no, I've been keeping an eye on this, on the controversy side of it." So.
And honestly, to make it political, like content aside, I refuse to put a single a single cent of financial support towards J.K. Rowling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of Harry Potter, the content, but I don't hate it or denigrate it. It's not for me. But even with that being my opinion, I think it's a tragedy that such a beloved world and creation happened to have been created by somebody so fucking vile. And the fact that now any some of the articles that I come across, imagine what it's got to be like for people who love the Harry Potter world and their dream job is to be a writer and work in the Harry Potter world, and they might get that opportunity to do something to expand the Harry Potter world, whether it's working on this video game or working on the next short story in the world, whatever it might be, because it's become a franchise far larger than anything J.K. Rowling herself has created. But knowing that everything that you do is going to be attached to that vile fucking person. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a fucking shame. That's something that brings so many people joy, and even though I don't care for it, something that is so popular and so good and so positive for so many people, to be involved in it, to support it, to purchase it, to consume it, is to support financially a vile person.
Oh yeah.
Well, this goes back to not the financial aspect of it, but the artist versus the product, as it were, the artist versus the result. Omega, you and I in college, Wagner is the same thing. Complete fucking vile human being. He was an anti-Semite and a staunch supporter of the Nazis. He's called Hitler a young Siegfried, but he has an enormous body of work out there, which is regarded as some of the best 20th century classical music. So how do you separate the artist from their work?
Well,
is it possible to do that?
You see it in sports today. I mean, there are a lot of shitty athletes who have done some shitty things, but they're pretty fucking impressive athletes that can do amazing things on, and it's.
Can I make a recommendation to you guys?
So, yeah, that is a really tough issue. Yeah, what do you got?
I don't know what your opinion is of this woman, but do you guys know who Lindsay Ellis is?
Nope.
Sounds familiar.
Okay. Look up Lindsay Ellis on YouTube. She's been a YouTuber. She used to work with a Nostalgia Critic way back. She was known as the Nostalgia Chick. For the longest time, she basically does reviews on books and movies and stuff like that, pop culture and whatnot. She actually did a video on what is known as the concept of death of the author and the idea of basically removing the can you truly enjoy a piece of work when the artist is essentially a douchebag? Look it up. I'll even put the link in chat so you guys can watch it. You know, regardless of the kind of person that Lindsay is, you know, some people like her, some people don't. I just recommend checking out the video because it's actually kind of clever.
Well, I mean,
Kirby's heard of her, so I'll take a look. I'm interested in the topic, and as Omega said, it's a tough issue, and it's been going on for a very long time.
That's exactly it. Like Doc and I were literally learning this shit side by side in college about like separating art from the artist is a concept that goes back fucking forever. And yeah, if she's got an interesting take on it, I'm sure people might enjoy watching it. But yeah, it's tough. Like, I don't know. And the things, it makes you consider the things that you think people would have to do for you to not support them financially through their art or the things that they produce. Like, where do you draw your lines personally? It's a lot of people talk about buying with your wallet or voting with your wallet or using your wallet to make your opinions heard. But it's not often, it's one thing when people are talking about, I'm going to protest a store or I'm going to protest a clothing company. And then you ask people to protest a beloved fantasy world that they
Nope. I think we're losing Omega.
Just very underpay their workers. Yeah. Voice. Is that no, lost Doc. Oh shit! No, Discord's having a bad day.
Yeah, Discord's starting to choke up. I've got green now, though. We're good.
Yeah.
Doc, you there?
Yeah, I'm back. Is my robot voice gone?
Yep, you're good.
It was hitting us all. It's a Discord thing.
Yeah. Okay.
In the middle of Omega talking, all the syllables just started getting drawn way out, and I didn't know what was happening.
Neat. That probably sounds kind of cool. I have no idea where I was when I was trailing off, but I don't know. I think I made my point.
Yeah, absolutely made your point.
We can moving on to a much more popular topic that is near and dear to all of our hearts. Super Nintendo World Japan is expecting to open on March 18th.
Yay!
10
days.
I
could afford to go.
And 10 days from recording. Osaka, Japan. Super Nintendo World will be a thing. And everybody can go and meet Mario and Luigi.
I mean, nobody can go because it's in Japan and they're fucking closed down for COVID. They're canceling. They're effectively canceling spectators at the Olympics.
Oof.
So it's a Japanese only opening.
Yes, it's exactly what it will be.
That's fine.
Good for them.
You know what? It's the Summer Olympics this year, right?
Yeah.
It's the one that nobody watches.
I was gonna say there's no curling. I'm out.
Dude, I low-key really enjoy curling.
Dude, curling is the best sport ever.
I legitimately watch hours of curling every 4 years when the Winter Olympics comes around. I watch so much curling.
I watch that and wrestling. I watch that and wrestling.
Yeah, it's one of the few games where there's a legitimate amount of real tension for a good 6-7 seconds right before the shuttle, whatever it is, stops.
Yeah, it is the closest. It is the most suspenseful. That's really what it is. It is suspense. It is true suspense in athletics, and it's not like it's not the big game on the line. What's going to happen on this next play? Kind of suspense where it's waiting for a lot of action. It's no, you're going to watch this rock slide for 25 fucking seconds, and you're not going to have any idea where it's going to end up.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so good.
Coolest thing ever is when they reopened. There's a ice skating rink called the Lancer Lot here in Roanoke.
Oh my god.
And they started having signups for curling classes and curling club, and literally got together with 5 of my friends, and we did the curling class. It was $50, and it was the best $50 I've ever spent in my life. I busted my ass so many times, but it was worth every fucking second of it.
That's amazing.
I love it.
I
Gotta get
really
good with
didn't.
that brush.
Oh,
I really didn't expect this topic to sweep us off our feet like this.
Oh god.
Acceptable.
Fun fact, where I grew up, the ice rink that I went to like every weekend with all my friends, it had 3 rinks there. They had the public skating rink, they had a hockey rink, and then they had a curling rink. This ice facility was the official Mid-Atlantic headquarters of curling in like USA as like a sports organization. It was kind of weird. Never played though.
I will honestly say I do not root for the American curling team during the Olympics. I always root for the fucking Canadians because they're good at it.
Well, which is the team with the crazy pants? Is it the Norwegians?
It's the Norwegians.
Finns?
Every single year, it's the Norwegians.
Is it the Norwegians?
Yes.
That's the team I always root for. The one with the pants. I can never remember if it's Norwegians or the Finns, but yes, the ones with the pants.
That's like
I suppose
when I watch golf, I always root for John Daly because John Daly has wild pants.
Well, I suppose if you're gonna, if they have to wear pants, they might as well wear crazy pants, and that's at least kind of sort of acceptable.
Well,
Exactly.
I was about to say when I watch the Winter Olympics, I usually watch for hockey, and I always root for Russian teams when it comes to hockey because they they can be really brutal, and it's great.
Nah, I am a red-blooded American patriot when hockey comes around, and I am Team USA all the fucking way.
Oh, absolutely.
Those are my 2 Winter Olympic sports: curling and hockey. And I watch literally every hockey match because you can replay them all on NBC website.
Mm-hmm.
So every 4 years, I would watch every single hockey match through the whole brackets and every single curling tournament. I don't give a shit about anything else. I'll watch like highlights of all the skiing and snowboarding and shit like that. But
I will tell you, I think it was the last Winter Olympics. I actually took 2 full weeks off of work so that I could watch, because the wrestling would come on during the days that I was working. So I just took, because I was working 4/10s at that point, I took 2 weeks off so that I could make sure that I did not miss any of the curling and none of the wrestling, because ever since '96 when Kurt Angle wrestled in Atlanta and won the gold medal with a broken freaking neck, I have loved Olympic wrestling, both freestyle and Greco-Roman. But it just I don't want to miss a minute of it.
All I can think about is Peter Dinklage singing Space Pants.
It's a great thing.
Look at my Space Pants!
Oh, God.
All right. The Olympics are coming to Japan. Moving on, we touched on this topic, I think 4 weeks ago. The EU actually went through and approved the Microsoft purchase of Bethesda. So the EU and North America are all set to start cranking out Bethesda games are produced by Microsoft, or develop Bethesda games produced by Microsoft. It's one or the other. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I think the subtitle on this article says it all. Microsoft will have 23 first-party game studios.
Good lord.
That's impressive.
What could go wrong?
It's almost like they're trying to beat Sony.
And Microsoft isn't the only one buying up game studios or game developers. Last week, Epic Games was announced to buy the Fall Guys creator, which is Mediatonic. So, good for Mediatonic. Does anyone know any other Mediatonic games that have come out since Fall Guys? Because as we've mentioned before, Fall Guys is like 4 years old.
Yeah, I think this is a funny way of them actually saying what happened is Epic bought the Fall Guys IP and can now do whatever the fuck they want with it. And they bought, a team of 10 developers along with it?
Yeah.
They'll throw them on whatever fucking project Epic wants to, but they can now do whatever the hell they want to with Fall Guys.
Yep, and this is how Epic is going to take over the world. Fall Guys is how they do it.
God.
Wow.
I mean,
everybody's...
whether you like the game or not, this game is wildly popular on Twitch. This and Among Us are still wildly popular. And
it was actually surprising. The last Warframe stream that was on Twitch, when I popped in, there were 20,000 people watching the Warframe stream, and then right below that in my recommendations was Jacksepticeye playing Fall Guys, with 47 million viewers, 47,000 viewers, I think.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
I think 47 million users would break Twitch.
Yeah, that was never mind that 47,000. I can't do math.
Personally, myself, I actually wouldn't mind playing Among Us. It actually looks like a pretty cool game.
I thought the same thing, but I would only want to play with friends. I've only heard horror stories from public matchmaking.
Oh, it's terrible.
And I would only want to play with friends.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You know, I can definitely set something up if y'all want to play one night.
It's cheap enough.
It is. It's $4.99. It is. It's really fun. In fact, we could do it on a Twitch stream, one night, and
do the podcast at the same time that we're playing Among Us.
Oh no, no.
No. The concentration required for no. This is why I don't want to play RDR or GTA on a podcast, because if we get up to go someplace, the amount of coordination that we need is just too much to keep on going on a regular article. We just end up playing the game on a stream.
Yeah,
and we can do that. I'm fine with that. It's not a podcast.
Well, that's something for topic light weeks.
Yeah,
something when we want to talk about movies.
See, RDR has things like, we could sit at the campsite. We could go to a moonshine shack. We could sit there like 6-person carriages. We could just go for a lazy roll through the Great Plains. We don't necessarily have to do anything too crazy. And then it'll just be interspersed with chaos of people trying to kill us, and then we'll resolve that. And then we'll head back to the safety of a moonshine shack, for example, and then we'll resume the podcast.
Yes, there's two very fine bars that we have a choice of. You can visit both. Who knows?
The last time that I logged into RDR, which I need to do to keep my daily streak going, but it was yesterday. I was in there for like 10 minutes, and I came across a modder who had made himself like 2 feet tall, and he was just running around in circles around me.
I saw a 30-foot tall guy today.
That's how long it took. Less than 10 minutes for me to find a modder.
I mean, I will say I encounter a modder one time per multiple hours.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's just bad luck, but
yeah.
It does. They're out there. Nothing like GTA though.
Yeah, no.
GTA is a crapshoot every time you're playing.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole, and here's the thing that's destroyed my faith in Rockstar in general. They're perfectly aware that there are modders everywhere, and they aren't. I don't think that they're doing nearly as much as they could to prevent that sort of thing. Because if you go to the GTA subreddit, half of everything that you read is people dicking around either with mods or against modders, and those posts get very highly rated.
I will say I've had one experience with GTA. This was probably about a month and a half ago with a modder that was a blast. And it was basically just me driving around with this modder, and he was like, he wasn't a dick. We were just having fun. and he was like changing the weather up and like changing the speed and traction of my car when we're at like the airport, and I'm like zooming around and doing crazy shit, and he's like spawning in UFOs, and like so. Once in a while, you come across a modder who's there just to have fun and not there to be an asshole about it. But unfortunately, most people just like push the button to make everybody die.
Yeah, or have them or have a toilet appear around their character, and they have to walk around the toilet.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
Embedded in their character.
Has your car ever got transformed into a Ferris wheel?
No. That's
that
awesome.
Was a thing. I mean, it was for like 2 minutes, and then I wanted to do something else, and I couldn't get out.
Oh no!
Wait, could I get? I think I could got out, but I was like so high up that I like got out of one of the Ferris wheel carriages and fell to my death. Oh wow. Man!
Call your mechanic to call in your Ferris wheel.
That's a whole new version of fifth wheeling.
Unacceptable.
Thank you.
Right, moving on. GameStop. The next one. This is rather technical. GameStop forms committee to lead e-commerce shift, and it will include the former CEO of Chewy.
Yes, which actually, the former CEO of Chewy is brilliant because they were the excuse me, they were the ones who really got that brand out there. And honestly, my wife and I have considered starting to use Chewy because we have a 4-month-old puppy. So
right.
getting
for
out
people
of
that
the
don't
house.
For people that don't have pets, Chewy is the largest online distributor of pet food in the United States.
Oh wow!
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Well, they aren't they owned by Amazon?
They are.
Good question.
Now, I believe.
Oh no, sorry, PetSmart.
Yes. Okay.
Chewy is owned by PetSmart.
May 2017.
Yeah, they kind of showed up as like a pet supplies exclusive Amazon. It was just this place online where you could go get anything pet related. Like your local pet store doesn't have it. Your big chain company or your big chain pet stores that only have the standard shit doesn't have that unique stuff that you're looking for. Like it was the Amazon of pet foods and stuff like that. But
I will be 100% honest. I have looked at the prices because I'm about ready to have to buy flea and tick stuff for both my 13-year-old dog and my 4-month-old dog.
Oh yeah, Christ, it's a racket.
Considerably cheaper to do it through Chewy.
Yeah, it is. The flea and tick, whatever, however you do it. If you have a collar or if you put the stuff along the back of your dog, it's everywhere you go. Almost, it's a racket. To try and get as much out of it as possible. But Chewy's prices are a little bit more respectable. I'll concede that.
Once the puppy gets old enough, though, we're going to switch to the chewable kind. The chewable flea and tick stuff. Bravecta or whatever it is.
I actually don't know anything about that.
Yeah. The vet suggested it, so we're kind of going with vet recommendations at this point. But back to GameStop, they're starting to get away from their brick and mortar stores. I know here in Roanoke we had 4. We have now dropped down to 2 GameStop stores, one near the mall and the one in the next town over that I grew up in. And both of them there aren't many games on the walls anymore. They've switched a lot of it to, collectibles. They're starting to really get into the collectible market, and the one out near the mall now is actually carrying more PC related stuff than they are console related stuff, which is great in my opinion. But at the same time, when I look at their prices compared to like even Best Buy, I would rather go to Best Buy.
Those are fighting words.
So, well, I mean, it's just cheaper to go to Best Buy, if we're being honest. So, that, and I don't have to pay, $20 a year to be part of Best Buy's rewards program. So,
Yeah.
So I assume that all this was spurred on by the kerfuffle in the stock market. The formation of this committee, that is.
yeah.
No, I think this probably goes back to when they and Microsoft had that little merger acquisition, not acquisition, but like partnership mini merger kind of deal that we talked about on the podcast maybe like 6 months ago or so.
Yep. Mid last year.
Yeah, I think that was probably the shift that led to this. And if anything, I would say it's more likely that all the stock market shit has been in some way a response to things set in motion when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if anything, I bet that's where it came from. Because and if their stores are getting away from games, that might make sense. Because you look at stuff like Microsoft stores or even Apple stores. Like Microsoft stores, they're closing down. Well, they're not closing down. They're all transforming into Microsoft Experience Centers. You don't go to a Microsoft store to buy stuff anymore. You go there to play with stuff, and then you start to like it, and then buy one online. So I wonder if that's kind of the model GameStop is going to be switching to.
That could be a strong possibility, and that actually is like a I know that when it comes to the whole like try before you buy is actually a really popular model with a lot of companies.
I really am looking forward to when Microsoft develops virtual reality genital stimulators so that I can go to the Microsoft Experience Center.
I imagine those will be third party, but like third party.
No official Microsoft branded dick pump.
No,
That makes me sad.
but it will be officially licensed.
How?
Oh,
Wow.
well. Yep. So speaking of officially licensed, Ethereum mining limiters could be the new standard on nVidia GeForce GPUs in the future. We talked about this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago on the podcast, how the new 3060 card that was coming out was going to have a software/hardware feature on it, which prevented people from mining cryptocurrency. And this was, we speculated, in part due to people buying up as many GPUs as they possibly could for Bitcoin mining, and bots buying as many GPUs as they could to resell to people who were Bitcoin mining, as well as other markets. So this is how NVIDIA is trying to combat this, and I don't have a problem with this if they want to make this standard on their future cards. I don't mine Bitcoin, and I don't see a point in doing it, so I am fine with it.
Yeah, these Ethereum limiters are interesting, and I'm with you. I like that they're doing it, but also if AMD doesn't, that's going to be great for AMD's bottom line.
Which does lead us. I'm not sure how much we want to talk about the NVIDIA GPUs, but we could. This very naturally leads us into AMD announcing their new RX 6700 XT. And along with that announcement came the announcement there will be significantly more GPUs available. So that ties into what you're saying, Omega.
Yeah. I mean, that would certainly be interesting if one of the companies... Like, AMD has been favored by miners for a while. And, Bitcoin isn't done on GPUs anymore so much. Those use more purpose-built computers for mining Bitcoin, but now it's mostly Ethereum. And if limiters become standard on GPUs, because these companies want to be like, hey, we're making these for graphics, not for mining. If they want to take that stance, then that naturally leads to the next thought: is who's the company that's going to start making purpose-built Ethereum mining hardware? Because that's what happened with Bitcoin. Bitcoin used to be done on GPUs, and then somebody invented something that was better, basically, and it just was no longer cost effective to use a GPU to do it compared to these other types of computers. So if the same thing happens with Ethereum, that could be interesting. And if it's going to be interesting to see what AMD does to respond, because if they do nothing, it's going to allow the Ethereum miners to keep buying up graphics cards. But if they join suit, it could kind of destabilize the crypto world a little bit and change the way things are going.
I know nVidia has different product lines for different companies that are trying to do stuff. They're the commercial GPUs that we all buy, but there are also specialized GPUs that people use for AI development or TurboCAD even. So it wouldn't be terribly surprising to me if nVidia came out with a line of GPUs or specialized hardware just specifically for Ethereum mining. It could be a market that might appeal to them. I don't know. Probably someone at nVidia has sat down and run numbers on this, deciding whether or not it's cost effective. Who knows? Who can say?
That'll really be what it is. Because I just looked it up. They're called ASIC computers, application-specific integrated circuits. These are basically standalone computers designed to do nothing but mine Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was originally intended to be mined on CPUs, and then miners discovered they could get more power out of their GPUs, and then somebody invented these ASICs. So if the rug gets pulled out of GPUs on the Ethereum market, we'll see the next generation of ASICs for Ethereum instead of just Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
On the tail end of the AMD article, they announced that the RX 6700 XT will be selling for $479. We covered in the podcast that the RTX 3060 is going to be $399. So if NVIDIA says $399, it means $450 on Newegg. If AMD says $479, you're looking at like $520 on Newegg. Yeah. So they are going to be more expensive. But the RX 6700 XT is the competitor to... Wait, are they the competitor to the 3060 or to the 3080? No, the 3060. The 6800s are the competitor to the 3080. Slightly more expensive. And they're going to run hot.
Yeah, AMD likes to run hot. It'll be interesting to see benchmarks when they start coming out. I'm liking that we're getting back into this like punch counter punch from these two companies. It's been a little while since we've had this kind of activity over this amount of time. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, the back and forth it's been missed.
What I'm enjoying is that knowing that them doing this now means that in like 6 months to a year, there's probably going to be some really good, affordable graphics cards available.
Wouldn't that be nice?
God.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, I'm using my card is not great. I have an RTX 2060, and it's by no means top of the line. It does fucking everything that I want it to do.
Yeah,
it's a great card.
Honestly, $400 for a 3060. If that price holds and they're available, I could imagine dropping $400 for a 3060.
Yeah, yep. I constantly the Radeon software that is on my computer constantly says, "Hey, do you want to upgrade? Do you want to go from this to this?" Of course, I'm currently running a 570 or 580 series, RX 580 series. And the upgrade advisor on this thing is like, yeah, you need to go to an RX 6900 XT. Huh?
I mean, the 570 is an older card, but it checks out.
Yeah. I mean, it does what I need it to do. It runs games at 60 frames a second, which I'm perfectly content with. So, I don't need anything super fancy. I can tell you that at some point I will be looking to upgrade that card.
Look, if I ever get it in me to try out 4K gaming, I'll get another card. But 1080p at this point,
yeah,
a lot of cards can do just fine. Now we're at the time of the year where it's the dick, or actually we passed the time of the year where it's the dick measuring contest to see who's got the latest hardware. But speaking of dicks, Stranger Things. Oh, whoa, no, fuck! I messed that up. Speaking of dicks, there's an article there's something that I want to bring up just briefly before we move on to the last three topics. Subverse is coming to Steam. So they have a Steam store page up. It is on my wish list. Subverse will be available on Steam. I can probably tell you approximately when.
This is a game
that
we've been talking
transition
about
almost
for months.
That transition almost went soft on you, Doc.
All right.
Unacceptable.
Subverse's release date on Steam will be March 26th. This month, March 26th,
Wow.
Subverse will be released early access on Steam. Go check it out. It's the porn version of Mass Effect. It looks phenomenal.
Oh my god.
Well, we almost made it through an entire episode without that game getting brought up.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, Warframe. So next topic would be Stranger Things creators and Steven Spielberg are adapting Stephen King's Talisman for Netflix. I haven't read Stephen King for years. I am not entirely sure what Talisman is.
I am not sure either. To be perfectly honest.
It is based off of what this is. What the article says, because I've never read it myself. I love Stephen King's books and movies. The Talisman was written by Stephen King and Peter Straub.
In 1982. Oh no, 1984. It was released in 1984, before I was born.
Oh god, I feel old.
Yeah, me too.
The fantasy novel follows a teenage boy named Jack Sawyer, searching for the talisman, an object that can heal his dying mother and save the world. Sawyer journeys across America and the territories, a grim parallel world to our own. So yeah, I won't be watching this. Things that involve children trying to save their dying mothers kind of hit home personally for me. So I won't be watching this. But it definitely looks interesting.
I mean, I might give it a watch, not because of the thematic material, but because 1984 Stephen King was doing a lot of cocaine and writing a lot of sexually explicit shit.
Oh, yeah, man. You're not actually wrong.
No, you're definitely not wrong. But speaking of sexually explicit shit,
Subverse coming out on Steam, early access.
Wow.
Well, gotta talk about that. But Pepe Le Pew will not be making an appearance in the second Space Jam movie after his scene was cut.
Why? Because he's a rapey skunk?
Well, there's that.
I mean, like Pepe Le Pew, I hate the word, but Pepe Le Pew is problematic.
He really is.
Yeah. I hate the term, but like, if there was ever an appropriate choice to attach to, it's Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
And a dirty, smelly French rape skunk.
So you're saying that the French are problematic?
We didn't say it, you did, Doc. But
I apologize for nothing.
But I actually this was on today's Philip DeFranco show. And this was brought up that the scene was cut, and there are two sides to this. One side is pissed because there are people who are fans of the character, which I don't understand, because the character is, again,
he's a rapey skunk.
Yeah, problematic. But the other side is, okay, the actual description of the scene was, that it's actually listed in the article. It was a black and white Casablanca-like Rick's Cafe sequence. He's playing a bartender. There's a woman sitting at the bar, played by is it Greice Santo? Greice. I'm Southern and can't pronounce that. Santo, he begins kissing her arm. She pulls back, slamming Pepe into the chair next to hers. I mean, pours the drink on her, and then he attempts to pursue her throughout the movie. A lot of people, the one side is like, okay, that's really not that bad. He pursues her like he pursues the cat. The other side of that was, okay, she gave him what for, and she gives him what for and shows female empowerment, and they're removing female empowerment from the movie. That was the other side of it. So
see, the thing is that if for those people who have actually watched those Looney Tune cartoons and have seen the occasional cartoon with Pepe Le Pew, there are many times that Penelope the cat, which is the name of the cat that basically Pepe always mistakes as a skunk and then tries to sexually assault, essentially there are many times that cat gives Pepe what for, where she'll get like really uncomfortable, try to pull away from him. Sometimes she'll smack him up a little bit and then she'll run away, or she'll do that and other things that these sane people would probably consider to be empowering, but it's not.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
No. And I like Omega said, the character is
problematic.
It's a problem, and it is from a bygone era. He was a problem back in the day, and nobody said anything because it's a cartoon, whatever. But the other story that came out of this as well, which actually has got, again, two sides to it, is that the character model for Lola Bunny was changed. If anybody has seen the original Space Jam, and I'm not speaking to this group specifically because I believe we've all seen it. If you haven't seen it, first of all, you need to go watch it because Michael Jordan is a treasure, and I don't just say that because I'm a giant UNC fan. But she was a very, very, sexualized in that first movie. Her character was, very curvy, very,
You wanted to fuck her, okay?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no. There were feelings there.
We don't judge. Zero. We're not going to judge you.
It's about to say that's where a lot of furries got their start. A lot of millennial furries got their start at was with girls like Lola Bunny.
Yeah, and they've gone in. Of course, now the movie, she is found to be hanging out with the Amazons from Wonder Woman.
Okay, that's kind of badass.
Yeah, that I agree with. And they've changed her character model to where she's not showing as much, quote, skin, and her shorts fit a little bit better and don't, ride up as high, things like that.
Is Daffy Duck in this movie?
Of course. Why wouldn't he be?
Does he wear pants?
Probably not.
I'm offended.
He wore pants actually in
you're gonna put more clothes on Lola Bunny, but you're not gonna make the boys wear pants.
He wore pants in Space Jam. He did. When he
I don't actually remember anything about that movie. I saw it once when I was a kid.
Yeah, but no, I mean it. Again, this falls into that. People saw it as two schools of thought. One, she was an empowered, sexy female that had curves, and that's an empowerment thing. And the other side is, okay, good, you've removed the sexuality from this character because females shouldn't be overly sexualized just to get attention. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, two schools of thought, of course. I've seen it it makes me laugh every time these arguments come up because it's just like, okay, well, it's a cartoon. First of all, let's all be adults. It's a cartoon. But
you're setting the bar really high there.
Yeah, I really am. This is the internet after all. But again, when I was a kid, there were stirrings.
Urges.
There were urges. But
more about the first time you felt this way about the bunny.
Thank you, Sigmund. Appreciate that. He is a doctor.
Well, no, I'm a hashtag today. Look, so here's the thing. I find this all very funny, and people want to battle this out. I have no dog in this fight. I don't give a shit. The long of the short of this is Rule 34 is always going to be a thing.
Oh yeah.
So if you ever want to see a sexualized Lola bunny, all you got to do is wait for. Hell, you might not even have to wait until the film comes out. Just go onto Rule 34, look at Lola bunny. Maybe there's some updated 3D graphics of her playing basketball, and she has an oopsie where her pants go down and Donald Duck's dick goes in her.
Oh,
So
I'm sure there are hundreds of images on Twitter in the days since her new character model's been released. I'm sure artists have done things.
God bless the hardworking people that release free content for Rule 34. That is an excellent way to end this podcast. But two things. I saw we have been talking about the new Monster Hunter movie that stars Ron Perlman and Mila Jovovich. I saw that, and we also brought up the Nicolas Cage knockoff Five Nights at Freddy's movie, with the title of which escapes me.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. Thank you very much. I saw both of those movies. Monster Hunter, it's exactly what you expect. If you're a fan of the video game or you played the video game, you're going to go into there and you're probably going to have a pretty good time. From an outsider's perspective, it was a neat little journey. It's not going to win any awards. It was fun. The CGI in it was actually way better than I was expecting. So graphically, they put some work into that movie. Story-wise, again, pretty good. Mila Jovovich is not believable at all as captain of a ranger platoon. It did not work at fucking all. Not that she isn't authoritarian or anything, but she is I have a gut feeling that she is a very happy person outside of work. And that does not translate through to a ranger role where you're stuck in the middle of Iraq doing patrols in the middle of the desert, getting shot at and threatened by IEDs. I don't think that you have an extremely sunny disposition. So that was the weakest part of my first watch through that. Willy's Wonderland, on the other hand, is complete total garbage.
Oh, really?
It's a fucking terrible movie. Okay, if you like Five Nights at Freddy's, you're going to go into this and you're going to be like, oh, that's really cool. Nicolas Cage is tearing these things apart with his bare hands. I won't get into spoilers at the end or anything. You'll find all this out probably in the first 15 minutes of watching. At no time is Nicolas Cage under threat. They set it up so that he's tricked into watching this place, cleaning this place overnight. He's locked in there. He can't get out. There are these psychotic animatronics that are just staring at him, and they move occasionally. And when one comes to life, stares him down and says, "I'm going to drink your blood," he just looks angry and pissed off and beats the ever-loving shit out of it with his bare hands, and then sticks a broken-off broom pole through its head. At no point does he ever come under threat from these things.
I mean,
so
it's just Nicolas Cage.
We're just watching until the next one comes awake so that we can see how Nicolas Cage demolishes it. So there's really no horror element to any of this. I don't know what the fuck. Some of the press behind this was saying that Nicolas Cage always wanted to do a non-speaking horror role. So there are two things wrong with that. First of all, if your character doesn't speak in a horror movie, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, as long as your story is very strong. There's not really any story here aside from stay in here and beat these things to death. So that doesn't work. Second thing, if you have a non-speaking role and it's not pertinent, or you could get away without it. It's because they didn't want to learn any lines. Nicolas Cage didn't want to memorize any lines. That's the reason his character never says anything. The other thing that was weird is that it's a Nicolas Cage movie. You'd expect there to be some money behind this, but I suspect that most, if not the majority of the money, went to Nicolas Cage, because the set that this thing is taking place on, it looks like something from a low-budget indie movie where they only had a week to shoot.
Doc, remember it was a couple months ago one night when we were playing Halo late, we were talking about the entire catalog of Nicolas Cage's direct to streaming and direct to DVD movies. Like, Nicolas Cage hasn't made a real movie in a while.
No, that's true. Yeah, that was when I recommended Wind Talkers to you, because it's got the greatest Nicolas Cage line ever. If you've seen Wind Talkers, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you will know it when you hear it. But yeah, it's not really a horror movie. There are a plethora of things in it that don't make any sense. Like, why would you do that? Not in Nicolas Cage's part. There are other characters as well, and most of them, because they do talk, you frequently ask yourself, why would you make that decision? Why would you do that? Why would you think that? And the reason is always the same. We have to get to the next scene. That's why.
Okay.
So.
Oh wow. Sounds like there's some quality writing here.
Well,
no. Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful right there.
Yeah, they. I will say this: when I heard that this movie was coming out, I am a fan of the lore behind Five Nights at Freddy's. The lore is actually really cool if you go through and look at it and piece it all together. Again, Matt Pat at Game Theory and the Game Theory team have done an amazing job of piecing this 6-year-old game, or this almost 10-year-old game at this point, piecing together all of the lore spanning across multiple games and now multiple books. I want to watch this movie just because I watched the ending explained, just to kind of, get an idea of what I would be stepping into, and was like, oh my god,
oh no,
this movie's going to be awful. And I'm here for it because it's Nicolas Cage.
Don't take that attitude into it, because remember, this is the knockoff movie. Matt Pat has nothing to do with this version, with Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, absolutely.
They can't use that lore. I'm pretty sure that they came up with a whole different thing. I don't know a ton about the end lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, but I'm fairly certain that what they came up with in this movie to explain what was going on is nothing to do with Five Nights at Freddy's at all.
I think he was more going for the fact of, dead or animatronics that are, basically, horrible monsters and whatnot, and then they're getting demolished by Nicolas Cage. I think that's what Zero was hinting towards more. He was more interested in.
Okay, then I apologize. That's fair, because that absolutely happens. I'm
now starting to wonder.
Like, the moment that I saw this Willy's movie, or whatever the fuck it's called, I knew that a lot of people were going to make connections between it and Five Nights and Freddy's, but I knew for a fact that it wasn't going to be anywhere near like Five Nights at Freddy's, because they showed in one of the trailers basically Nicolas Cage's character going ape shit on one of the animatronics. If anything, the way how I was seeing the movie is that Nicolas Cage was actually the bad guy. Like, obviously the animatronics are evil, possessed, or whatever the story is there. But I was actually seeing like Nicolas Cage being this like drifter type that, and all these people are like tricking him into like doing something bad with the animatronics, and then they just made a horrible mistake because they let a psychopath in with the animatronics, and now the animatronics are getting destroyed by Nicolas Cage.
Yes, that's the whole thing. You just summarized the entire movie, basically. But here's the thing: there's no. It's like Star Wars, Clone Wars, Episode 2. It's like Episode 2. You have two armies: an army of clones and an army of robots that are going at each other. There's no possible way for you to be emotionally invested in either because they're both disposable. That's what you have going on in this movie. Nicolas Cage is a total asshole and a psychopath. The animatronics are possessed psychopaths, murderous things. They're equally bad. And the other characters that are involved in this who have speaking roles are shallow and pedantic, and there's just no way to get attached to anything in this movie. So you're basically only watching it to watch Nicolas Cage beat the shit out of things. That's the whole point of the movie. And if that's your thing, great. You like roller coasters. Me too. But it's as movie wise, it's awful. Anyway, there's a better. This was brought up. Sorry, Zero. There's a better. It was brought up in a review that I haven't watched yet. There's another movie called The Banana Splits that came out, I think, in 2019.
Yeah.
That deals with similar things. There's an animatronic or a puppet show or something like that was a TV show, and it was called The Banana Splits, and they're finally breaking up. The Banana Splits were actually a real thing. Everybody knows the theme song, even if you don't think you do. La 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 la.
Oh God.
That's the theme song.
Now it's going to be stuck in my fucking head for days. Thanks for that.
La 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 la. So the Banana Splits movie is actually much better constructed, in my opinion. Go and check that movie out. That is a fun animatronics going psycho movie.
So I actually have a cool little bit of trivia for that movie. Believe it or not, because that was produced by Warner Brothers, that was not the first IP that they were going to use with that movie. That script was originally intended to be the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
That's speculative, Zero. That's not actually provable. It is very speculative on that. They don't know that for sure.
It is because at the time, you're right. At the time, the script was in development for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and the author was announcing that we're getting ready for a screenplay. We're gearing up to do this, and it fell through after that. I'm not aware if you can post an article or something like that says there's a definitive connection between those two. I'd be interested because it is speculation and it's plausible, but it's unknown.
Yeah. So okay, that was my trivia, but.
No, that's fair.
It feels bad,
it's a tie-in. No, it's a tie-in, and it's worth pointing out that the screenplay for a Five Nights at Freddy's movie is supposedly done, and now he's shopping around for a studio.
Actually, they already have a studio.
Sweet.
Blumhouse Pictures is actually the ones who have optioned this movie, and in the last interview that was given by the head guy at Blumhouse, they said that the movie, that everything is moving forward quickly, and that Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, is very pleased with the direction that they are going, which is more than could be said about his experience with the WB. Because Warner Brothers, apparently they wrote a script, handed it to him, and he said, "This is shit, I don't want it."
So here's my only concern with Blumhouse movies. I know they did Paranormal Activity. I'm not clear whether or not they also did the other 6 Paranormal Activities after that. But I think they did. So I'm all for a Five Nights at Freddy's movie if the creator of the game is satisfied with the screenplay and he asserts creative control over that. But if it's gonna turn into 17 movies, I can pass.
Yeah.
On the plus side, the Blumhouse also did Get Out.
Yeah.
Which is
so based off of
hopeful.
what I have heard so far, the movie is going to take place during the time frame of the first 3 games. So that's promising because the story for the first 3 games is actually really good. It has gotten extremely convoluted now, since Scott Cawthon is trying to correct certain plot holes that were created by the 4th game.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to fix that with books and more games and stuff now. But the original 3 games were really good, and it was really hard to figure out the lore. But apparently, speculation says that it is taking place during the time frame of the first 3 games, and that it is going to be very involved in what the lore was during that time frame.
That's cool.
Oh well. So there's still upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and Willy's Wonderland was it's great if you just want to see Nicolas Cage hitting things. That's the point. Whole point of the movie. Monster Hunter though, not terrible, you know? Maybe give Monster Hunter a shot. You get to see Ron Perlman be an angry guy for like 15 minutes.
That sounds like fun.
Like how angry are we talking about here?
He's got a big sword that when he slams it into the ground, fire and shit explodes out of it in front of him.
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
fun.
Nice.
And there's a lot of lightning, and there's a dragon at the end.
Nice. Like, are we talking Elder Dragon from Monster Hunter?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. I thought okay, cool.
The point, actually, yeah, without getting, that's actually not a spoiler either. You know that they're gonna go fight the big bad for like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Cool.
But yeah, it's an interesting time. That oddly enough, I remember more about that movie than I do about Willy's Wonderland.
That's completely fair. I was about to say, when it comes down to it, I have never been at the same studio that was working on Monster Hunter was the same studio that did the Resident Evil movies that she was in, and I was never really 100% impressed with those movies. Like, I saw the first Resident Evil movie, it was okay, and then they started making sequels, and I was just kind of like, but why though?
Well, here's the thing. There are probably 5 production companies attached to Monster Hunter, and 4 of them are Chinese. Do you want to know who the main production company is, though?
Who?
It's Tencent Pictures.
That's funny.
They stole the little Linux penguin, and they turned him around so that they could get away with it. And he stares at an open door, a double door that opens up and forms the silhouette of a T.
Aww.
Wow.
That sounds both cute and also horrible.
Yeah, it was. I had similarly conflicted feelings when I saw that pop up on screen.
I like that little penguin.
I like the penguin too. I don't know what it has to do with Tencent, but I like that penguin.
There was at work, I before they upgraded my computer, like sometime before the pandemic, whenever the hell that was. I had a Windows 7 computer, and I hacked the welcome screen, so it was actually a basically the Linux penguin looking through what looked to be a broken glass pane.
Yep.
On the thing. It was great. I loved it.
Man, what was that? WinCustomize.com used to have all that shit.
Yes,
for like customizing your boot screen and your login screen and your just everything. Jesus Christ, yeah. There were a lot of third-party applications in Windows 7. We're gonna save this for the post show though.
Yes.
That about wraps it up. That's everything on the list.
I think that's everything on the list.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for stopping by and joining us on the Church of Chonkwij podcast. It's been a blast. We'll be back next week, and here's Zero to take you out.
All right. Well, as Doc said, we appreciate everybody coming by tonight. I appreciate especially Kirby, who interacted with us through the chat. Hope everything is going well with you, sir. I will be coming back to streaming this week. I have taken a long break as there were some job things going on, and just wanted to make sure that I had all of that straight before I started back. So I will be streaming this week. Keep an eye on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You will see announcements there. And as always, again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Penis.